allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment will be open until 7:05. But seeing as no one's here, we'll move on to Winnacunnet Pride. You want to do that, Bill, or do you want Luke to do it? Either one.
Do you have anything you want to share about school
we
reopening?
just had we were like starting preseason,
Mm-hmm.
and well, starting up.
Yeah,
we're getting ready to come back, and yeah, we did freshman
That's right.
Fresh
fresh start. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I didn't get to do it, but I heard it was really fun. They all enjoyed it. So
Great.
yeah.
All right. Super.
That's all I
Thanks,
got.
Luke. That's all you got. No worries.
All right.
And I can add to it in my principal's report.
Okay. Perfect. We have minutes we can do them one by one, or you can do them all together if you guys want. But we need a motion to approve the minutes. Let's do them one by one. Motion to approve the minutes of June 14th.
I'll move that. Good evening. I'll second.
All right. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
And then could I get a motion for the August 8th retreat? Are there any changes that need to be made? All right. And could I get a motion for that?
So moved. I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor? Thank you. And then the August 8th non-public. Get a motion for that?
I'll move that we accept the minutes from the non-public meeting from August 8th.
Great.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor? Perfect. Thank you so much. Next is superintendent's report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So summer is always a busy time. We are still onboarding new staff members and filling vacancies across the SAU. Just if people are out there listening and are interested, we do have educational associate openings across our districts. So if you are interested, you can go to the SAU 21 website and click on employment opportunities, and that will take you right to an application. This will come up a little bit in Dr. Hobbs' report if you've read it, but staff have been involved in a number of professional development opportunities this summer. Summer programs just wrapped up about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, depending on your school. The SAU office just wrapped up audits last week. Well, the auditors were here last week. There's still some little bits of wrap up to do. Schedules, calendars, planning activities for the year ahead, and policy committee met for a couple of hours last week to go through the remainder of the policies that hadn't been reviewed in a number of years. So that's good news, and you'll see those in September. Yesterday was the first day of our administrative retreat, and today was our full administrative team from across the SAU, and we had a training with our new public relations consultants, John Guilfoyle, Public Relations, which was well received, I think, by folks who were there. And tomorrow we have an attorney coming to talk with us just about best practices around investigations and bullying and Title IX and harassment, so that our administrators are up to speed on all of that, because there are always changes, and Title IX, we anticipate some changes coming in October at the federal level. And then our new teachers will start with us on Monday, which is exciting. Dr. Hobbs has planned a couple of days of orientation for them. And then everyone is back next Wednesday on the staff side. We'll have a little breakfast here and a welcome back celebration, I guess, for lack of a better term, in the auditorium. And then students come back on the 29th of August here at the high school. That is only 9th graders. Upperclassmen come back on Wednesday the 30th. So that's it.
Great. Thank you.
I'll stop there.
Could I ask a question? How are we doing? Because everything I'm seeing on Boston News is they're having a terrible time with bus drivers. Are we okay?
So from our most recent conversations with First Student, and I was on a call with them about a week ago, we are staffed. I will say that substitutes are always a challenge, and from time to time we do have to consolidate routes in different places, but generally speaking, our primary routes are all filled, so
Good.
feeling good about that.
Great. Awesome. We have curriculum, student service reports in there. If anybody had any questions, by all means, they can reach out to Dr. Hobbs and
Or, yep,
Yep.
and Dr. Toomey,
And
or
Dr.
if there's
Toomey.
anything they want to talk about, I'm happy to
there's
try
a-
to weigh in.
yeah. Anybody have anything on those? No? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to commend them on their work. It's I actually follow this. I kind of
Nice.
I sort of get into it. I find it very interesting. I love that process of just hearing about mentoring and welcoming new teachers on. And actually, a point from your report,
Sure.
I wonder, do the new like special education teachers and aides and coaches and whatnot, do they get to be a part of some of this, or is it
So,
sort of hit
so
and
special
miss?
education teachers this is all of
Okay.
our teachers.
Right.
New staff won't join us until the 23rd, but there are some orientation things for them on a building level,
Okay.
rather than the SAU level. But they also participate in there are a host of mandatory trainings that we require of all of our
Sure.
employees, so.
Are they
That's
part of
kind
the
of the
I guess part of the mentorship?
Educational associates are not part of the
Okay.
mentorship program, but
Okay.
all professional staff are included
Okay.
in that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Bill, you want to do the principal's report?
Sure. So it's been a busy, much too quick summer,
Too quick for right.
but it was a successful summer. So summer school, we had a great summer school program. 57 students enrolled in the program. We covered credit for failed classes. We did build another boat.
Yay.
So we have several boats that if anybody's out there that needs a rowboat or some paddle boards, let me know. The Cedar Summit program, I believe this is the 12th year. This was probably the largest year as far as 38 students attended. Good representation from all the schools. And from every single teacher that was in that program, we had great reviews on how well behaved the students were, how respectful they were, and everything else. And then on the Black Heritage Trail in Portsmouth, one of the park rangers came up to our teachers and said, "This is the first group of students that have actually been involved and had asked relevant questions."
That's awesome.
So,
Great.
Well done,
and then
guys.
the SY program, the Special Services Extended School Program, they had a great program. They visited my farm for one day and had lunch there.
Did you make them muck the stalls, I hope?
No, we didn't. And they fed the horses, spent some time with the sheep, and then I also had the opportunity to have lunch with them at the Airfield Cafe one day too. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nice.
That's great.
And then we just finished up Fresh Start last week, and we had about 85 to 90% of the students. And then we also had 86 to 88 upperclassmen come help out, so it was
That's huge.
very well received. Fall sports began, football began last Friday. Everything began on Monday, so everything's ready to go.
Good job.
Staffing, we are fully staffed. We may have 1 or 2 EA positions open, but we will have 2 new people in the front office, a new math teacher, a new ROTC instructor, 504 counselor. We have a new addition for the ELO coordinator, and we have a speech language and some special ed teachers. So we're looking forward to starting the school year. We have 2 donations that have accepted. I don't need to worry about anything under $500, but we have the Blackbaud Giving Fund donated $80, and that goes to student activities. And the United Way of Massachusetts, Bay, and Merrimack Valley donated $63 to support Winnacunnet student activities.
Great.
The enrollment numbers currently are at 1,085. This time is pretty consistent to what we had last year, which was 1,091, so our enrollment's pretty stable.
Great.
Now, I do have one additional item that's not in your packets.
Mhm.
And this is an idea that I thought about, and given where we are in this world, I had seen rainbow-covered walkways and stuff like that throughout the country and nation. So one day I'm looking out onto the entranceway, and basically we have a curved entranceway that looks like a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And, clearly we have students coming from 5 different towns. We're all inclusive. We have a very diverse population. Again, I will work with the student body as far as what this would look like, but again, it is the school that you oversee, so we're looking to do something like this. I've spoke with the superintendent, we're looking forward to doing it. It's something we can do. I've spoken to some of my admin team and had great reviews, but again, it's something that clearly we want to move forward with. I think it's the right thing to do. We're all inclusive, and I think it will be a good signal for our students and the community. But again,
That's great.
be working with the student body to move forward.
I think it's awesome.
It's nice.
Yep.
I wish I'd thought of it.
You're welcome to take credit.
No.
Our job is to give it away.
Yeah.
So, and again, I was able to use my iPad and, learn something new to do it.
Figure out how to do it, right? You like that? Oh, I love the idea. I think that's great. I mean,
Yeah,
for the
that's
longest
really
time, we
nice.
had the picture with the rainbow over the Winnacunnet,
Right.
so I
Yep.
think this is natural. It's awesome.
And again, we have dream, think, do, and, dream of rainbows and, future. You
Yep.
know, again, students come to us with all the schools with different dreams and passions, and this will allow them to fulfill those, hopefully.
I like that.
So.
Nice.
It's very welcoming.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yay.
Love it.
Okay.
Thank you. You have your finance report in there and your facilities report. If anybody has any questions, we can delve into it. Otherwise, if you do, you can give them a call. Under continuing business, we have the ESSER required COVID mitigation and response plan update.
Well, we do. We're required to have a COVID-19 plan as a recipient of ESSER funds, and so we'll continue to be spending down ESSER funds through next September, so we still have to have a plan in place. The only proposed changes from the plan for last year over this year is we've removed the dashboard. I left it worded, I think the wording I have is in the event of an outbreak, the school will communicate that to families, but otherwise there's not going to, it's too much for us to maintain that dashboard at this point, and cases have been very low. Otherwise, there are no changes really in the last year and a half regarding protocols. People are still recommended, if they develop new onset of symptoms, to test, and if you do have COVID, you're required to miss 5 days, and then you can return. So.
All right, great, thank you. Next one is the student parent.
I do need you to approve it,
Oh,
though.
we need to approve it,
Because
sorry.
we have to
Oh, that's right.
post it.
Okay, so could we have a motion to approve the continuation of the COVID-19 mitigation and response plan as presented?
I will move that we accept the ESSER required COVID-19 mitigation and response plan update.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Awesome, thank you. All those in favor?
I'll mark it unanimous.
Thank you. And thank you for that.
Just going to remind, I don't know if there is any public comment, but
Oh, yeah, we have public comment. Would you like to?
No, I'm just here to support you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I thought I'd come see who's doing what.
Absolutely.
You're at the beginning of the year thing.
Yep.
I just like doing that anyways.
Oh, awesome.
Glad to have you.
Well,
Little
welcome.
COVID thing, all that's very important, so.
Yes.
Does
Well,
everybody
welcome.
know you?
What?
Does everybody know?
Oh, I don't know. I'm Rob Southworth, and I live in Northampton, and I'm an educator, and I run the Schoolworks Lab. And I've worked with these wonderful people here, the instructional people, last year on Portrait of the Learner.
Right.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Nice to have you.
And there was an update in that in Dr. Hobbs's report, and the administrative team has been worked on that at the retreat this week. That was in my report as well, but you should expect to see more of that at the joint board in October, and then at the individual board level in October as well, or
Thank you.
possibly November.
And it was done very well because it was really grounded in the community. The surveys were analyzed and things boiled up, bubbled around and boiled up into, going forward so kids can actually see it. Logos can be posted. It's, I think, a unifying moment.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, student parent handbook. We need that approved. Were there anything that came out that's
No
noticeably
major
different?
changes.
Okay.
Just some changes based on either policy being changed or being removed.
Mhm.
Throughout the year, we'll continue to update as we have any changes, but it's basically the same.
Okay. So at this point, we'll need a motion to approve it.
Madam Chair, I move
Yes.
to approve the Winnacunnet High School Student Parent Handbook for 2023-2024.
Second, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Our student athlete and parent handbook. Do we have anything that we,
So, so some things haven't changed. A lot of it's based on NHIAA. But the other thing that is part of it is the school athletic contract that we spoke about. So we do have, I know we had a long discussion last week, so we do have that final language based on some of that discussion. It was more, based on the second offense and the time frame as far as what that would look like. And what we, based on the conversation we had, the second offense within 365 days of the first offense, violators will receive a suspension for the remainder of the current season they are participating in. And this is where we had some discussion, and working with Aaron, we figured that if there are less than 25 calendar days remaining in the current season, counted from the last scheduled regular season game, that suspension will carry into the next season.
Okay.
And then the student will, work with the student assistance counselor for that.
okay.
And the other thing that we did change, and I will probably also refer back to the last meeting, so the contact that we have with the parents. Prior to this, basically it was worded that the athletic director will meet with the parents. Now, there's a question that came up some previous incidents whether or not that we met, and we responded that yes, we did meet, but I just wanted to correct that it was not a formal meeting as we had said. So again, it
Okay.
wasn't meant to say that those individuals were not telling the truth. It was just the interpretation as far as how we interpret a meeting versus how the interpretation was.
Okay.
So I apologize for anything that came out of that meeting. And again, this is, sometimes difficult because, we'll contact the parents and some parents will say, thank you for letting us know there's no reason to meet. Other times, so what we've done with the language is that the student and or his parents will meet or speak with the athletic director and another administrator to discuss the violation. No consequences will be imposed, but written documentation will be provided upon that completion, whether it's via email, phone call, or a formal meeting, just so we can keep track.
Okay. Great.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
Bill, I'm sorry, when I read through the verbiage for the second offense
Yep.
within 365 days, I'm not quite sure, and it may be intentional to leave open the number of days, but when a student commits a second offense and they have less than 25 days remaining in the current season,
Yep.
it says the suspension will fall to the next season. Does it say for how long, or is that going to be open to somebody else's discretion? It doesn't specifically say
So I think
6 weeks. I know we
Okay.
talked about that, and I don't know if that, I'm just curious what this,
the intent there, and we can clarify this with the intent, would be
Okay.
for that whole season.
for the whole season. So, their suspension would be for,
So if it happens in the last month of your winter sports season, right,
It would
those
be
last
the
25
entire
days,
spring.
you'd miss the
Yeah.
full
Okay.
spring.
Okay.
And we can add that.
Yeah, if we could just
Clarify.
clarify that,
Yep.
because I would be concerned that we would be challenged on that if it weren't more specific. I don't know.
I agree, and, as far as, counting the days of, so that's why we said, specifically said from the last regular season, because some seasons go into extended
Sure,
season.
Right.
sure, I understand,
But
yeah.
we will definitely put, for the full scheduled season of the next.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that's great, because in some of the previous language where it's very specific about days and weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
we can do that.
So, would that then be amended?
As amended?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
as amended.
Okay,
Yep.
all
So,
right.
yeah, so if somebody wants to make a motion to approve it, as amended, because we'll be amending it as we just did. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. All right, let me go back here. Sorry, I lost my language. Motion to approve the Winnacunnet High School student athlete, that's not the
Yep.
right one.
That's it.
Student athlete handbook, pending the addition of amendments discussed at the August 16th meeting for the handbook for 2023-2024. That was mushy. Sorry.
Mouthful.
Okay.
I didn't mean for it to be a mouthful.
No, but it's,
I wrote motion to approve the Winnacunnet High School Student Athlete and Parent Handbook pending the addition of amendments.
You could just say as amended.
As a, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I originally put that in, but then I thought,
I didn't realize I had
as amended.
all that power.
Yeah, all that power.
Yeah,
I'll
Okay.
second.
thank you.
Who's that?
Desiree.
Desiree.
Desiree, thank you.
All those in favor?
Stutter on
Did you
my
say
name.
Debbie?
As in, Desiree, like I had a question. Desiree.
Who are you tonight? I just wanna
Yeah.
know. Yes, thank you.
my split personality.
I know, yeah. All right.
Before we move on to
Yes.
the audit questionnaire, which I know you've all been waiting for.
We have been.
I just wanted to jump back to Bill for a minute to talk about one of the changes that what is in the handbook with respect to suspension and a program we've been working on, so.
So,
Is this the student handbook or the athlete handbook?
This pertains to the
student.
student
it's
handbook.
already, so it's
Yeah,
just,
it's in the
one-
handbook
one
already,
change
it's
that
just,
I
we meant
just
to call
kinda
it out.
flew by. So, this past school year, we had several students that was suspended several times, and again, we try to work with the students that clearly suspension is not the best solution. They're not in the building, they may not have parent support at home, they're not being educated. So, Seacoast Youth Service, we've been working with Seacoast Youth Services on a program that suspended students would not, so if they're suspended, instead of staying at home, Seacoast Youth Services come up here, pick them up, and bring them down to Seacoast Youth Services for the day for that number of duration. And they would have some programming for them based on what the offense was, some academic support, so at least they'll be continue doing academic work.
Academic work.
So.
That's a nice change. I like
Yeah.
that.
And where is that located, Bill?
It's in Seabrook, right,
Seabrook.
everyone?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's right
Right across from the
the small
market basket, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And again, we've worked with Seacoast Youth Services, I
say.
mean, I've worked with Seacoast Youth Services since I've been here, so
I was
it's
gonna
been
say
a
we've
very
been with
great
them
partner-
forever.
partnership, so this is something that, again, based on the success, is something that they may be able to extend to other schools, and we may be able to extend it, because, clearly, the students that are getting in trouble are our most at-risk students, and they need the most support, but at the same time, as much as I don't want to suspend students, they need to make sure that this building is safe for
Is
everybody
safe
else.
for everybody else,
So,
right.
so sometimes it's a difficult decision. I've sat with the superintendent, with many parents, as far as what the best solution is, and
Yeah.
we've been as creative as possible, so that I think this is gonna be a very positive option.
I like
Yeah,
that
I think
option.
we're hopeful that it's to support both two parents and two students, right? To
Yeah.
sort of
Mhm.
not lose learning time and
Sure.
get them back on track and reconnected.
And they will be picking them up and dropping them off
So,
here.
so we'll have a bus, they'll
Yeah.
take for student transportation.
Okay.
They'll arrive here,
Mhm.
get onto a bus to be transported there, and they'll come back here prior to the end of the day in order to access transportation home, through First Student.
Awesome.
Just a quick question, since I didn't have a chance to read it. I'm wondering, is going to the Seacoast Youth Services, is that part of a progressive step? Would students initially have like an in-school suspension? And I guess, is there a component of severity of offense that's related to this, or is it just immediate, that's where they go?
It'll depend a little on the nature of the offense and the
That's what
judgment
I was-
of the
that's what-
administrators,
that's
yeah.
what I was hoping for.
So, a lot of times, as far as the range of different discipline, sometimes it's a conversation with the student and the assistant principals or my office, and we call the parent. Sometimes it'll be detention after school, and sometimes it'll be
Okay.
in school, and then based on the severity.
So there is a
it would be as-
graduated,
yeah, based on-
I assumed as much, but not that I know anything about being suspended.
Yes, tell us your, no.
You don't wanna know.
I love it.
Thank you, Bill.
Why is that, mine is not working. Question, yeah. Odd
Yes.
questionnaire.
So I know Matt sent this out to the board members ahead of time. He had pre-populated responses to the questions based on input that had been provided last year. I don't believe he received comments from any board members requesting any changes or additions. But if you have any, this would be the time. If not, then what we would do is authorize, or have the board authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the board and submit that by a DocuSign. And we'll pass that along to the auditors.
Anybody have anything they need to add to it?
Just that I was a little miffed by the whole questioning. I found it uncomfortable. And I'm not a privacy nut, but I can understand if this had something to do with disclosing financial information, but I found the questions about personal, family, whatever, work, etc., to be intrusive, and just would like to go on the record as saying that.
I will certainly pass that on.
Thank you.
I know we have.
That's my short, pithy answers.
No, it's fine.
You know, we do have an obligation to submit to public audit. This is the process that Plotzik and Sanderson, our current auditors, use. I will certainly, again, pass along both to Matt and to the auditors that specific feedback. You know, the general intent is to gather from the board whether there are any concerns about the operations of the district and its handling of finances, and whether there are any concerns about misappropriation of those funds. So I can appreciate why questions
fine.
about,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I can appreciate why questions about board members. The other piece they're charged with is making sure we're not violating our board member ethics policy or conflict of interest policy. So they do have to ask some of those questions as a baseline to make sure you're not just approving contracts going to, right, your families for services.
Sure.
But
sure.
but there may be better ways to do that
Yeah.
than what was provided to you. So
I mean, we're elected officials.
Absolutely.
You know, we've been vetted by our communities, and there's usually a certain amount of question asking,
Beforehand.
validation prior to that. So I don't know. I just, I would wish for a bit more polished, perhaps, opportunity to answer questions. Thank you.
No problem. We don't have to, oh yeah, you have to, no, you don't, I can just sign it?
He's gonna send it to DocuSign.
Right, but I mean, don't they have to,
as long as the board has no other additions
there's
or
no other
concerns,
additions,
then
okay.
we're okay.
all right, perfect. Extracurricular stipend committee?
Yes.
Yippee.
So I think you were part of that
I was.
meeting back at the end of the school year.
So much
So the committee meets, just so everyone is familiar, the committee meets annually. That's written into our collective bargaining agreement with our teachers to review stipends and make any recommendations about changes. It might be adding a new activity, or we may have to adjust stipends to better reflect any changes to the responsibilities. So this year, the committee recommended that 2 stipends be added to reflect participation levels and current needs. One of those is chess club, which is a new activity, and I know
They presented here.
you saw a
so-
presentation here about a year ago. Well,
Yeah,
I
just
don't know
about a year.
exactly when, about a year ago. So recommending that we stipend that at the $1,324 level, and then also a new cross-country assistant position, which allows both the boys and girls teams to have a head and assistant coach. And that stipend would be at $3,508 to be consistent with our other existing cross-country assistant position. Finally, the committee recommended 2 new stipends for next year's operating budget. One of those would be a new stipend for National Honor Society at $439, and the other for Quill and Scroll Honor Society for $439. So those 2 would be folded into the budget. So we're only asking the board to approve adjusting the stipends as presented for the amount of $4,832 to be funded from the 23-24 operating budget.
Anybody have any questions on that or concerns? Then could I get a motion to approve adjusting the stipends as presented?
Madam Chair, I move the addition of the chess club stipend of $1,324 and cross-country assistant stipend of $3,508 to the current budget.
For a total of $4,832. Does that make sense? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Ratification of nominations.
So we don't have any listed on here. I feel like we may have one that we need to still bring to you.
Okay.
But our HR office was on vacation last week, so they weren't there to put things in when the agenda was issued, so,
That's right, I couldn't do
if we
that.
have one, we'll bring it to you in September.
Okay. Perfect. And do we have a non-public, right?
We do have a non-public.
Okay, so we need a motion to call.
Do you wanna close public
Oh,
comment? at
yeah, is it?
7:05?
Yep. Oh, good. Wow, exactly on it. Did you set a timer?
I did not,
Wow. We're gonna
but I
send,
write it down.
we're gonna close public comment at 7:05. All right, and now we need a motion to go into non-public.
I'll move that we enter non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman 2, 8th one.
A.
A.
Yep.
At 7:06.
I'll second.
Great. All those in, roll call, sorry.
Tamara, Blake?
She's just letting it load.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Tamara Lynn,
Yes.
Tricia O'Keefe,
Yes.